A lot of changes are coming for the Boston Celtics in terms of new ownership, but maybe they could be hanging another banner in the next couple of months. As you guys know, we are now in the home stretch of the regular season. 8 more games left to go, and then it's the playoffs. But what happens if Boston fails to repeat as NBA champions? Well, that could be a huge mix-up to the Boston Celtics roster. That's exactly what we're going to break down here on Celtics Today by Chat Sports. I am your host, Allie Barefoot, and last year we had so much fun going live for all rounds of the playoffs leading up to the championship. So if you guys want us to go live for the Celtics playoff round 1, 2, 3, and possibly the NBA Finals again, we need 25 new subscribers from this video. All you guys have to do to make sure that we are live for the playoffs is to hit that sub button for me. Knowing that we do have a new owner coming in and we are facing several penalties because of the highest salary that we will have in the NBA next year, estimating about $500 million, there's a lot of questions the Celtics are going to have to try and address regarding their starting five. That's because most of the starting five are considered superstars in the NBA, if not all. And they're all very expensive players. And what Brad Stevens has been able to create has been an absolute masterpiece that has led us to our first championship in over 16 years. But things are going to have to happen. Changes are going to have to happen if the Celtics do not want to face more penalties that could cost them draft picks and can possibly impede their future if they do not go back-to-back. And that means trades. It's an unfortunate truth of this business. There are going to be trades if the Celtics do not win the 2025 NBA Finals. And that is the most gut-wrenching fact I will put on your plate today. Now, these next few months, I think, are going to matter for all the Celtics players, but I think primarily Jrue Holiday is the number one guy I would keep on your radar in the next couple of months. He's up there in age. He's definitely making a lot of money. The Celtics could possibly start weaning off of their salary. And I do think that because of the production he's had this year, maybe it's time the Boston Celtics find other resources to add to their starting lineup. That, unfortunately, is not Jrue Holiday. But why trade Holiday and not Kristaps Porzingis? Because Porzingis has missed more than half of the games this year with an injury, and we know that he's completely made of glass. So why am I so set on getting rid of Holiday's contract and not Kristaps Porzingis? That's because Brad Stevens extended Jrue Holiday last offseason. He wants him to retire in Boston. I want him to retire in Boston. I think he's been nothing short of a true asset for the Celtics since he was technically traded from the Portland Trail Blazers from Milwaukee. But I would trade him over Kristaps Porzingis because of this right here. Next year, he'll be making $32 million, then $34, then $37. He'll be 35 years old next year, 36, 37, and then 38 in 2028 when he is expected to be an unrestricted free agent. And I'm not questioning age 38 because look at what Al Horford's doing right now. He's absolutely dominating, and he is 38 years old. But I do think that with Jrue Holiday, it's different than Horford. He's a defensive asset that sometimes adds in about 12 to 14 points on a good night. But I do think that with a guy like Holiday, you can't wait too long on a trade because going into ages 36, 37, it's going to be harder to try and trade Jrue Holiday away for assets that can actually help the Boston Celtics win. Yeah, you can put some draft compensation in there, maybe try and get a good name in the year 2027, 2028. But I think after this year, after this season is probably going to be the best opportunity to trade Jrue Holiday away. And that's saying a lot because his production has slipped just a little bit in the last couple of years in this season alone. So I hate to be the bearer of bad news, and I don't have a crystal ball in front of me. I can't predict the future. But I do think that Jrue Holiday will be traded after the 2025 season if the Boston Celtics do not go back-to-back. And that's a heartbreaking statement for me. I am not anti-Jrue Holiday. I do not want the Boston Celtics to trade him away, but we have to be realistic. You cannot keep that starting five forever. It's just the nature of the new CBA. And it's going to be very hard for Boston to get under that second tax apron paying for a guy that's $32 million a year when you also have the two highest paid players in the NBA on your roster in Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum. So I think Holiday hits a trade market. Should Boston trade away Jrue Holiday? I say yes. Type Y for yes, type N for no. God, this is breaking my own heart even saying it out loud. I want you guys to understand it is nothing personal. It's just business. So let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. I do have a possible trade scenario to talk about on the back half of the show, but first, I got to make sure you guys are up to speed with the best daily fantasy sports app in North America. If you guys want to go ahead and test out your skills, Prize Picks is the app to do it on. If you guys want to win money while you're watching sports, then download Prize Picks. It's the best way to get action on sports in more than 30 states, including California, Texas, and Georgia. And the best part is, the app is extremely easy to use. It's aesthetically pleasing, by the way. To create a lineup, all you have to do is pick more or less on a few player stats for your shot to win up to 1,000 times your money. Prize Picks is the best place to win some cash while you're watching sports. You can join over 10 million users and sign up today. Prize Picks offers Venmo, Apple Pay, MasterCard, and more for quick and easy deposits into your account this sports season. Not to mention, spring is here, baseball season is here. You can mix and match different teams, different players, but I'm going to keep it basketball just for now. I'm not technically in the baseball mindset just yet. Sorry about that, Jack. I'm going to take Derrick White to have more than 9.5 rebounds and assists, and then I like the combo picks a lot. I will take Jason Tatum and Bam Adebayo to have more than 17.5 rebounds combined. These are my Prize Picks. If you guys want to go on ahead and make your own, just download the Prize Picks app. Use promo code CLNS. That'll give you guys $50 instantly when you play your first $5 lineup. Download the Prize Picks app. Use promo code CLNS. That'll give you guys $50 instantly when you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks. Run your game. Just because I predict that Jrue Holiday will be traded this offseason doesn't mean that he's the only person that could be on the chopping block. You can make a case for Kristaps Porzingis. You can make a case for Derrick White. Maybe even a very small one for a player like Jaylen Brown. But KP could also definitely be on that market because of his injuries, because he's also 29, going to be 30 years old. And, just knowing that he possibly hasn't been what the Boston Celtics wanted long-term just because of those injuries. But the reason why I chose Jrue Holiday over Kristaps Porzingis is because KP is going to be an unrestricted free agent in 2026. You have Jrue Holiday through the 2027 season, so you're going to need to shed that salary quicker than you will with Porzingis. You can allow him to still be on the Celtics roster next year and then just set him free. No trades or anything, just thank you for everything, and then you go hit the free agent market. But I will say this, if KP does stay, and they trade away Kristaps Porzingis, and they trade away Jrue Holiday, you are still going to need to bulk up that center depth position because Al Horford may or may not be retiring, because you do not know how many games you'll be able to get out of Kristaps Porzingis. And then on top of that, you're also going to have to now make up for the lack of defense because you did trade away Jrue Holiday. So keeping KP doesn't mean that you stop making additions to the roster. So, Sports Illustrated did have a possible trade idea here as a 3-team trade where the Boston Celtics received the very young and talented Walker Kessler from the Utah Jazz. On top of that, adding Norman Powell to the Celtics roster as well. The Jazz received P.J. Tucker, Derrick Jones Jr., and a plethora of draft picks along with Terance Mann. And the Clippers is where we end up sending Jrue Holiday. He goes and plays with Kawhi Leonard and James Harden, so they do still have superstars on that team, and the Clippers, a top 10 team in the Western Conference right now. But we bulk up our scoring, our rebounding, and our rim protection with a guy like Walker Kessler and, getting some sharpshooting there and some defense with Norman Powell. I really don't hate this move. Obviously, it's a lot of moving parts to try and make this situation happen, and I know that Brad Stevens is smarter than all of us combined, but I could see this move working out. I know it would take a lot for the Utah Jazz to move off of a guy like Walker Kessler, but hey, if Brad Stevens can get Jrue Holiday and Kristaps Porzingis in the same summer, I'm sure he can try and work something out with his buddy Danny Ainge. I have no doubt that whether it's going to be Holiday, White, Brown, Porzingis, that possibly it's a trade market this summer, Brad Stevens is going to find the perfect trade for the Celtics. I have full faith in Brad Stevens, and he knows a lot more than me, knows a lot more than NBA analysts out there in terms of being a front office manager. But I do think that if we lose in the Eastern Conference Finals, or we go to the NBA Finals and you lose 4-1 to the OKC Thunder or something like that, it's going to be a very interesting summer. You just can't afford to have the Celtics starting five be together if they're not going to win championships. And if they do win Banner 19, then I think it's worth it to face those penalties and face the draft penalties that you would have going over the second apron, because you have a championship roster that is winning back-to-back and possibly to back. That is why I think if they don't win, it could be an interesting summer. So my last question for you guys here is, can the Celtics win back-to-back? That is the first domino that has to fall. Type 19 if you guys agree. Obviously, that would be Banner 19. The Celtics would be hanging if they do go back-to-back this year. As always, if you guys want us to go live for the playoffs, all you guys have to do is hit that sub button for me. We need 25 new subscribers on this video to make sure I can tell my bosses that you guys and I want to go live on Celtics Today by Chat Sports. So go on ahead and hit that sub button for me if you guys haven't already. You guys can join over 47,000 loyal subscribers right here on the Celtics Today channel on YouTube.